Thank you. So I don't have a lot of time, so I'm going to try and compress a lot of information in a small amount. I'm just recovering from COVID. I think I went over 2 years, 2.5 years. I was good. And then all of a sudden, bang, everybody's got it. So I've got a little bit of brain fog. So please just excuse me if I'm like stumbling for a word. All right. So I'm going to share my screen. And I just want to make sure that everybody can see that first slide. Yeah. Okay, good. Got thumbs up. All right. So has everybody here heard of North Forge? No. Okay. I see Frank. That is so part of my job is to let everybody know about North Forge. So we are an incubator, accelerator, business incubator accelerator. We call them BIAs. We operate out of 27,000 square feet here in Winnipeg. We are located at the University of Manitoba in Smart Park. We have a fabrication lab downtown. I'm going to go into a bit more detail on that. We have offices in Pinawa. We're opening a fabrication lab in Thompson and then the Paw. We basically help companies develop faster, cheaper, and more successfully, helping founders, we call entrepreneurs founders in the tech industry, solve problems in real time and reducing the cost and risk of innovation. So incubators traditionally provide entrepreneurs and innovators with an honest and experience-based assessment of whether an idea is a science project, a viable product or service, or a basis for a business. So if it's viable, then we provide a proven model of coaching and mentoring through the maturation process towards commercialization. And our goal is to help basically create jobs and foster the entrepreneurial climate in our community in Manitoba, attract and retain businesses to stay here, and to build and accelerate local new industry growth. So we've got a lot on our plate that we're trying to do. We were formed in 2015. We brought 4 companies or organizations together to form a not-for-profit. So to eliminate duplication, share resources, and basically, it's making sure that entrepreneurs and founders have access to capital, support, resource finding, all of that kind of fun stuff. So here we go. Let's see. There we go. So what is the new reality? Why do we do what we do? So we're, in a world, oh, I lost a slide. That's okay. We're in a world where full-time jobs and pensions are in decline. Technology is starting to replace people, and that's not a bad thing. They're replacing people in jobs that historically have been what you would deem as dangerous, using them in ag and mining and things like that. Technology will not replace people in all areas. Entrepreneurship and innovation go hand in hand. So it's not a coincidence that most developed nations are the ones with the highest level of entrepreneurial activity and innovation. In fact, the impact goes beyond the usual suspects of increased productivity, competitiveness, job creation, and spills over into areas like regulation, infrastructure, the environment, and even social inclusion. And you've got to remember that innovation always isn't based on technology. I would say that 85% of our founders don't even have a tech background. You don't have to have a tech background. As long as you've got an idea, that's where we can come in and help bring that idea to fruition. So, because we know that innovation can create new jobs, markets, and industries that have never existed before. And Manitoba needs to really get into the game. We lead in some areas in agriculture, but we can lead in more areas. And we're often forgotten. Everyone goes to BC and Toronto, and then they kind of forget about the prairies. And there's a lot that's going on in the prairies. I'm going to showcase a couple of our businesses later on, just to give you an idea. So universities, they're starting to replace the emphasis on, MBAs with entrepreneurial hubs. You're going to see the University of Manitoba doing something like they did at the University of Calgary. It's going to be an entrepreneurship hub. And we've got to recognize that we're in a world that is evolving. And what will be the new normal for our children, for our grandchildren? What new products or services are going to be used? What are the jobs of the future? And we have to start thinking about this. If you've got grandkids or kids right now and they're like, what should I do? I would really recommend you become a developer or a coder, because you finish coding school, you can get a job for $125,000, no problem. And those are in demand. We are importing people from Brazil and Europe and China and the Ukraine right now, actually a lot from the Ukraine, to come in and code our technologies, because there is an incredible demand and there isn't enough kids in Canada that are going into these industries. So that kind of sums it up. This is a big slide, but I wanted to kind of just give you an idea of where the technological advances are going right now. So you've all heard smarter devices. So we now have intelligent TVs and autonomous cars and robots that are working alongside us in tasks. We're going to start to see continued momentum for smart device explosion. And this is including intelligent home robots that actually can be in our homes right now. You're going to start to see that over the next couple of years. Quantum computing. Basically, quantum computing enables machines to handle information in a different way than traditional computers. It's about 1 trillion times more powerful. And we're starting to see this processing information moving ahead exponentially. And you're going to hear more about this in the news in the next couple of years. Datification. So data, without data, we can't move ahead and make changes. So with these enormous amounts of data available, with social media and everything else that's out there, you see on Facebook how if you look at something, you'll get emails instantly or things will pop up. So this is becoming the #1 business asset for any organization. Artificial intelligence and machine learning. AI now, it's a world of machine vision. So we have computers that can see and recognize objects on a video or photograph now. And language processing is also making big advancements. So machines can understand our voices and speak back to us. So you're going to start to see more and more of this. You've heard of the metaverse. Well, the metaverse is this new virtual world right now where users can access different devices and platforms. And we're going to see more and more of this with augmented and virtual reality. 3D printing. We are 3D printing. You can now 3D print food. So that's absolutely incredible. We don't have that in Manitoba yet, but it's coming. We can mass produce now customized pieces, concrete for houses, metal, composite materials. And 3D printing is it's growing. It's absolutely incredible. Genomics. So you're starting to see genomics that has come into play because of COVID and these new vaccines. So gene editing to deal with some of the diseases that we're having to deal with as we get older. They're starting to come up with ways to cure this. They're also creating things at the genomic level like bendable screens, water repellent, and self-cleaning fabrics. And something that's really cool, I don't know if you've heard, self-repairing paint. So here in Manitoba, where our houses crack like crazy, self-repairing paint could be like a game changer for many of us with older homes. And then, of course, new energy solutions. You see all this cars, electric cars and everything that are starting to come out. You're going to see more and more around this in energy solutions. So before I go to like who we are, does anybody have any questions about some of this tech that's coming out? I want to give you a chance to ask a question. No? Okay. It's a bit overwhelming with what's happening in the world. But we're trying to put it in bite-sized pieces. Okay, so who is North Forge? When I took over, so I'm one of the original founders of North Forge, but I came in as CEO in March of 2019, right when the pandemic hit. And it was an opportunity to take everything that we've done and change it and develop it and build a really robust program and take it online. So now we can do everything 100% digital. So we do have some founders that are in the other parts of the prairies, but now we can reach every corner of the province. And our youngest founder is 15 and our oldest is 74. So it doesn't matter when you get an idea or when you want to come in. If you've got an idea, just send them to North Forge. Say, you know what, I've kind of got a tech idea or something in advanced manufacturing, or does this even work? And we have saved people. We saved one person $100,000. They were going to move ahead with something. And we were able to show him that his idea was not going to work. And he thanked us profusely. Like, he was ready to actually give $100,000 away and it would not have worked. So he's pivoting and he's going to come back, and this is part of what we do. So it isn't even just helping people start the businesses. It's making sure that what they are starting is going to work. So that's a really big part of what we do. We support basically these different areas. In advanced manufacturing, hardware and prototypes, we've got 2 young women who recently had children and they could not find a cart that was proper for all of the stuff that they needed with the babies. Taking the babies in, making sure their purses fit, getting it back into the car. So they said, you know what, we're going to come up with our own. So they've spent the last year and a half creating this new prototype that they've built in our fabrication lab. And it's going to be hitting the market soon. They've raised over $500,000 and it's going to solve a problem for a lot of moms. Dentists come to us with, they've got new devices, wearables, 3D printing. But then we've got a lot of people just in basic technology. And I'll go over what some of those businesses are. So our founders program, what we developed is 4 stages. And the Pathfinder and Basecamp, there's no cost to anybody. You want to come in with an idea. It's self-directed online courses with master classes. So those are mandatory for attendance, where you validate your idea, you develop your business model canvas. We help you develop your initial cash flow through these 2 phases, how to pitch your idea. And by the time you finish both of these, you know whether you have a target market, who they are, and if you're actually going to make money doing this. So if you get through those 2 phases, what you have to do is then you pitch to get into our incubator. And that's where the rubber hits the road. So it's anywhere from 1 year to 2 years. We're finding it's about 2 years. And this is where you develop your minimal viable product that's something tangible that's actually going to work. You're going to go to a go-to-market strategy. You're going to have scale your revenues. This is where we put you with entrepreneurs in residence. We put you with mentors. If anybody here wants to be a mentor for a company, please reach out to me. I'll have my email at the end. You don't have to understand tech to be a mentor. There are a lot of our founders need help in human resources. They need help in sales and marketing. Wow, do they need help in sales and marketing? You know, those are any area in business. Whether you're in technology or even opening a restaurant, you're all going to face the same type of problem when you're starting a business. So we're always looking for mentors that, you know, that can help in those different areas. We once you go from the incubator, you can go to the accelerator. And the accelerator is where you have about $500,000 in revenue and you really want to move into the States. You want to move into Europe. We've got 3 companies in there right now. 2 of them are moving into the States, and we've got a lot of experience with that. And it's such a big market, and it's different doing business in the US than Canada. So we want to make sure that we're protecting our founders and that we're helping them navigate the challenges that come with that. So in the incubator accelerator stage, we've got a lot of services that are available with that. So we just started a VC clinic. I don't know if you saw in the Winnipeg Free Press last week, it hit the news about our clinic where we have venture capitalists and angel investors to help our founders raise capital, to raise money. We have clinics for human resources and marketing and accounting. We have 2 legal clinics. We work with TDS and L. Vicker Law Clinic out of the University of Manitoba. We have a big mentor network. We're always looking for new faces and new ideas. And then we do office hours with industry partners like RBC, BDC, Yes Winnipeg, a lot of the government organizations, because we want to make sure that we're surrounding our founders with all the proper resources. So these are some of our entrepreneurs in residence. These are all people that run businesses. They work with our founders one-on-one. They're engineers, they're CPAs, they're MBAs. Our growth coaches have started businesses, sold businesses, and invest in companies. And we've actually are adding another person to this in sales. We are looking for a really good marketing person. So if anyone knows anyone who's absolutely a genius in marketing for startups, please reach out to me, because we're always looking for that new talent, especially out of Manitoba. So this is an area where some of you might be interested. If any of you are interested in investing in a startup, we have an angel network. There is no fee. It's for people that actually want to invest money, anywhere from, I think the lowest is $10,000 to about $100,000 into a tech company. You do have to be an accredited investor to come into the angel network. But for the Women's Equity Lab, which I just started up, it's for women who want to become investors. It's only $5,500 per person. The first fund will be $150,000, and we're going to invest in a Manitoba tech company. So always looking for women that want to learn about being an angel investor, want to be a part of someone's success and potentially make some money. Because even if you put in $10,000, for example, and a company is at 10 times return, you're going to get $100,000 back. So that's a pretty good investment for somebody. It's a lower one. So it's just an opportunity to try and introduce more women to angel investing. So the fabrication lab, if you have not visited the Fab Lab, as we call it, Tuesday nights, it's open in the evening. You can go on our website and sign up for a tour. A lot of people don't seem to know that we have the largest fabrication lab located in downtown Winnipeg, right across from Canadian Footwear. And we have 16,000 square feet. We have monthly tours. We have over $3.5 million worth of prototype equipment. We just got in a carbon fiber printer, which means that technically, yeah, you could print 3D print a hammer or a gun, for example. We won't allow people to do guns, but it can actually print steel, which is really cool. We have water jet cutting tables, so you can cut through absolutely anything. We have Form 3 additive manufacturing printers, metal lathes. We have a gentleman that's he's building, he's created beautiful knives, anything from fishing to hunting knives, and he's done all of it in the fabrication lab. And that is accessible 24 hours, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. It's membership based. And if you or any of your family or grandchildren are interested in building something, I highly, highly recommend that you check out the Fabrication Lab. Any questions before I showcase some of our businesses on the Fabrication Lab or our program? Okay. All right. So we have 148 companies right now that we're working with in one of the 4 stages. And I'm only going to show you literally just a handful because there are too many to go through. But I thought I would share some of the more interesting ones. So David Peters is a roofer, was a roofer, had been doing that for over a decade, has no university education, knew nothing about technology, but recognized that there was a void in the roofing market. So he created a roof calculation engine. So basically he can create on-site documents in minutes with full estimates, generate quotes, bill materials, work orders. This used to take 2 hours per home. It now takes 5 minutes. So he's increasing sales for roofers, but it's also being done accurately now. He's also created something called construction clock. So it addresses the time theft. So it's tracking employee hours and locations using geolocation data. And he's one that came in right at Pathfinder. He was in the paper last week. We've helped him do a $600,000 raise. Most of the investors are from Winnipeg, and his next raise will probably be about $3 million. And he's just one of those companies that you're going to see go like this. And again, remember, no background in technology whatsoever, but just had a great idea. We've got Dan Blair. He started BitSpace development, and he's really big into VR and AR that I mentioned earlier. He has 25 employees, and he's doing lots of work in the construction industry using virtual reality so that it protects workers. So they're not getting hurt on the job, but they're learning how to use equipment. He does a lot of VR training, like all of our training in the fabrication lab to use the equipment. He's all created it virtually for us. So you just have to put on the headset and then you learn how to use the equipment. We've got Mo, and basically what she's done is she does remote health monitoring. So she started a healthcare technology company, and it's a software platform to help professionals deliver treatment directly to patients who then complete the tasks at home. So right now she's really focusing on diabetes. Her website is live. So eCare Smart, you can go on there, you can sign up, and her platform will help you with some of the challenges that you may be finding working with your healthcare professionals. Her story, and a lot of people start these platforms and technology based on personal experiences, and she had a horrific experience herself. She does share that on one of our blogs, but she wants to prevent other people from going through what she went through. So amazing woman. We've got Kevin, Mimi, it's called, and it's basically an online identity verification platform. So you've all heard about catfishing, and especially when it comes to people dating online, and nobody knows who they're really talking to. So this is one of the areas that Mimi is going to change it so that if you're talking to someone in a different country, you can verify who they are so that you're not being catfished. It also is like, even someone like Abi Khan is now using Mimi, because Abi, as you know, I mean, he's now in politics, but his online verification wasn't even confirmed per se. Anyone could have stolen his identity, but now Mimi has made it so that nobody can. So he's kind of changing that whole area. And you're going to start to see more of Mimi as they start to gain traction. We've got Dr. Norm Silver. So he is a doctor, owns several clinics, and he's basically, his motto is a doctor in queue waiting for you. So you can go on this as well, qdoc.ca, and you can find a doctor and get treatment all virtually. It's not a nurse, it's an actual doctor. It's free to all Canadians. So rather than, so I used this when I got COVID. I woke up on Wednesday, my asthma kicked in, I couldn't breathe. I couldn't go to a walk-in clinic. I'm COVID positive. There's no way I'm going to a hospital. So I went on qdoc.ca. I got into the queue. I was able to talk with the doctor immediately. He put in a prescription for steroid inhaler and prednisone. I had that within my hands within 2 hours, and everything was fine. So I highly, highly recommend that you check this website out immediately. He's going to be moving right across Canada, and he's made sure that it's free for Canadians. We've got Mary Lobson. So she basically created a platform reporting sexual harassment in universities. It's moved across Canada. I've recommended that she talk to the NHL and some of the other sports teams, because as you know, they're dealing with this. And then she created a special version for North Forge. We're the first incubator in Canada where our mentors, our members, anybody can use this platform for bullying, racial discrimination, or sexual harassment. So she's changing the landscape around that. I've just got a couple more. One is a Spontively. Now, the reason that I started the Angel Network is because we've got companies that the states are pulling away from us, and this is one of them. Because they couldn't find the money in Canada right away, the states lured them down to Florida. They've raised $1.3 million. They're on their way to raise another $5 million. And they've created basically a community platform. And that young lady in the picture she came on as an intern for Spontively. She's now a co-founder, and she's only 23 years old. So I think it's kind of a cool story. We've got Dr. Paul Cooley. He can measure the thickness of the ice using satellite. So you can go onto a lake and find out if the ice is thick enough so that you're not going to go through. We have too many deaths, per year on ice issues. So he's going to be doing a lot of this around land and water as well. So again, just creating remote sensing. Permission Click. They came in at a ramp up weekend, which is our premier kind of a 55 hours, you have an idea and take it to fruition. They, in 55 hours, created a company that created digital transformation from K-12 schools using permission slips. He sold in January of this year for an undisclosed multi-million-dollar amount. And they're in 54 countries. Chris sold tools before he went into a ramp-up weekend. Again, no tech background, but had a really cool idea and is now a multimillionaire. And we've got Nicole Davis. During COVID, they created a face shield, sold 4 million of them last year, and they created all of those in our fabrication lab. We've got Theory Mesh, and they are doing the digital transformation of food safety. So you'll know where your food comes from and how it ends up on your plate, which is very important to many people and is becoming more and more relevant as we go through food transportation. And our last slide is Matthew Gale. And basically he created a proprietary monitoring device so that you can view the status of your equipment anywhere. There's no wiring required, but it'll tell you if your equipment is running or if it's not running. And if you need to send somebody down. So you don't actually have to have people in the factory anymore. And it's all cloud-based. Oh, and I added one more because John Sparrow. And I just thought, oh, you guys might not know about John, but Go Oil, proprietary platform, that's where we came in, but you can get your oil changed on your driveway. It's here in Manitoba. It's actually all across Canada. Just have to get a hold of Go Oil. They'll come to your work. They'll come to your home. They'll go through, they'll change the oil, and then they leave. Very simple. You don't have to actually go into any oil change places anymore. He started his first company at 15 years old. He's now 27. This is his 5th company, and very impressive young man. So I recommend going on our website, signing up for our newsletter. You're always going to hear really cool things that are happening in innovation here in Manitoba. And if you have any questions, this is my email address.
Great. Thanks so much, Joelle. What wonderful things happening in Manitoba. And thanks for mentioning about a tour. I'm going to see maybe our members would like to come and go through and see what's happening at your fabrication plant. So again, thanks so much. If people do have questions, please get a hold of Joelle by email.